Okay. Welcome to another episode of Walking Chronicles. I had to keep my mouth closed because I just walked through a little cloud of flies or something, bugs. So basically, just wanted to do Walking Chronicles for the first week of June because I think my Walking Chronicle series of 7 days was interesting. I got some feedback, no feedback, phone calls of concern, encouraging words, and stuff like that. So I wanted to give everybody a wellness check status update, so to speak. Because, after speaking for 7 days straight on many topics, some people actually do care that I'm okay or not. So I traveled for a little bit, went to Niagara Falls, and I had a good time. I had disconnected from everybody, literally everybody. So as related to the previous videos, I've been going through some heartache and pain. It's been provoked by myself, right? Because I'm a grown adult and I make choices and I have to deal with the consequences of my actions, and they hurt. And this week it's been a good week, I guess, because I've been kind to myself. I haven't been beating myself up about it. And one of the things that hit me the most in the time frame that you guys didn't hear from me was one of my friends from a long time ago, and she said, "Deb, I've talked to you for over 10 years. And hearing your story makes me really upset. Because when is it going to be Debbie's turn? For over 10 years plus, you've given your heart, soul, blood, shed tears to everybody. And not in hopes that I would get something back, but that they would honor me in the same fashion. And I gotta be honest, it kind of hit me hard. Because I've been wondering lately, when will it be my turn, but at the same time not dwelling on it, like I'm not thinking about it, So I just let it be. And that's why I've been rocking out, dressing up, doing Debbie things, Debbie way, because, that's the way I want it to be done. Am I upset still? Am I healing? Yeah. I think depends on what am I healing on, like, am I healing with a current situation or a trauma that I realized that I had and it's never been worked on, and now I have realized it. Now let's move from there, right? So in terms of the person, I still think of them every single day. Do I miss them? Every single day. Wish to be under their skin every single day. However, That's not the way life works. And you just go about your day, mind your business, YOLO, as much as you can. And, take yourself out to eat, to Longhorn, to Cheesecake Factory. Take yourself to watch a Cirque du Soleil show. Nope, not inviting anybody. I'm not anticipating rejection, but I think I need the solitude. I think I just need to enjoy my presence. Hike on trails that never hiked before, with a little fear in the, inside, being like, oh crap, I'm gonna fall off a cliff, or it's muddy and I might slide, or go down a cliff and be like, oh snap, I made it down and now I can climb it back up. I don't have a problem being by myself. I think I stated that the last time. It's not about being by myself. It's about whether it being a moment versus experience. And with all these things, I thought about nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And that's it. A feeling I've already had before. I know what it's like to eat alone. Not afraid to do that. Not afraid to go to a show by myself. Not afraid to dress up by myself. Not afraid to freaking drive 7 hours. Not afraid to go across the seas. But now, I don't question the solitude anymore. The why me. It's because it is. Why is the sky blue? Because it is. Why is the ocean blue? Because it is. Why do fish swim? Because they do. Why do birds fly? Because they do. And yes, we could get deeper with the whole spirituality and like God made birds the way they are, but why? Because he wanted to. Why did God make fish? Because he wanted to. It's one of those things of just because. So, and then now I've created my own personal routine. I work out. Today, I took a moment to do lawn care, and I kind of took my sweet ass time. I should have been more urgent with it. However, that was not the feeling I had. But I got the lawn care done because the lawn care got done because I mowed the lawn, I fertilized the lawn, I put mosquito repellent on the lawn, and hopefully it won't be so bad, right? I feel like now I'm making more travel plans to go hiking by myself. There's a lot of people that say we shouldn't do things by ourselves. But I think that's injustice for ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to have the capability of being independent. It should be an on and off switch. Hey, I could do things by myself, but also be in a group setting. I could figure it out on my own, as well as obtain help. And if you're wondering, do I ask for help? Yes, I do. I had a leaky faucet in one of those spouts, those little faucet things on the side of your house, and it put some connector, or an odd one, in fact. And I gotta say, I didn't have the tools nor the muscle strength to turn it. But then I realized, well, after the fact, I learned that whoever had put that spigot thing in had put like pipe glue, some red crap, instead of plumber's tape. So that's why I couldn't get it out. But it got figured out, right? So after that, my neighbor helped me get it off, and I had the other pieces. I just need plumber's tape now. But I knew I needed plumber's tape, but I just haven't gotten it. But anyway, so, I know we all dream of being in some type of coexistent relationship, where we all appreciate each other and grow and develop things with each other. But it doesn't always happen. You know what I've also struggled with? Not only the memories and reminiscing of the nostalgia of this person, the lifestyle, because I relaxed. Unfortunately, because I got to do it by myself, I got to, hustle and bustle a little bit more. And sometimes I know that's going to end up burning me out, but I got to figure it out. What am I going to do? Cry about this person for the rest of my life and not be able to do anything on my own? And the worst part is that wasn't the scenario. I could always do things by myself. I don't know why this person got it twisted. Now I just go at the speed of light. Now they're not included. And I go at Debbie speed. And I only speak of this because they're away. And in a way, it's good. And I refuse to hit him up the way I used to. I wrote the last message. I don't need to answer. I don't need to do another double text. I already did that in just, And I'm not sure if it means double texting is like because you pressed entered and you typed something again and you press enter. But I don't do paragraphs either. I do paragraphs, but they don't get read. At least by the people who need to be reading them, right? So, with all that said, the heartbreak, the emotional roller coaster I've been going through, it's because not only am I grieving this person, this situation, this, I don't know what to call it, delusion. But I'm also grieving the life I wish I had at this age. I think I said this before. I'm 43, going to be 44. I've had failed marriages, 3 of them. I learned it wasn't just them. I picked them. So I definitely had a problem. I definitely have a problem. Because I wouldn't be getting divorced if I picked the right one to begin with, right? So I can blame them all on them because they were lacking. They were. But who ultimately said yes to them? Me. So I have to take a good look at myself and figure out, why I have to go there. You know, why did these people get to be entertained by me? Making me realize I got a lot of problems. At least problems that I realize I have. Like I said, I wish at this age I would be in a relationship, growing older with my significant other. At one point I did want another child, you know, consummating the relationship with the love child, you know. Not a reason to have a child, but, you know, at that point it was weird because my daughter was old enough, but, you know, I would love to do it again differently. Now that I'm wiser, right? I wasn't a broke-ass teen. When I had my daughter, I was 22. And, you know, at that time, I wasn't a college dropout, but I was still working on my bachelor's by some time. Look, my daughter's 20. She was 20 when she graduated and got her bachelor's. So at 22, in her, you know, speed of light, she would have been in the master's by then. So I wish I had the opportunity to do it when I was a little bit more financially sound. You know, I had a career under my belt. I had a home. I have a home. A nice big home. And it's empty. It's just me and my dog. And every day I wonder, should I keep it or should I go? Why hold on to it? Because I was hoping to have a family. I was hoping to have people over. I was hoping to have get-togethers, birthday parties, you know, Friendsgiving. And some of you would be like, well, invite me over to your house. At this point, I don't want to invite anybody to my house anymore. That's the problem when you do stuff by yourself. You kind of get used to solitude as much as you hate the silence. You kind of get used to it. Kind of get used to living in the house being lived in, you know? And that's what happens. So I don't want to invite nobody over. So in the same way, same token, I shouldn't be complaining about being lonely, right? It wasn't a question of my capabilities of being alone. It wasn't a question of being scared to be alone. It was being lonely. Sometimes you just are in a room full of people and you feel like you're not there. So therefore, why invite a bunch of people just for the sake of inviting people where I'm not going to be present? So, this is depressing. I was in a better mood, you know, messing with my lawn. But I got my fitness getting better and being consistent. I know I used to do videos about working out. I might just go back to doing those. And versus I do my crocheting on occasion. You know, I listen to my Bible via audiobook style while I travel. I started watching movies again, but myself. But I don't collect the stuff. I say that already. You know, do self-care, facial masks, facial scrubs, body scrubs. You know, fix my hair. Do all that to entertain myself. Do I shed a tear though? Yes. Like I said, it's not only grieving the person, the situation, the reminiscing of what it was like last year. It's the life I wish I had. Where my imagination takes over, and would I have minded being a stepmom? I think I would have enjoyed it. I would have been good at it. Because I would have had the experience of raising my daughter. You know? And then it would have been different because then I would at least have the support of the other parent too, right? Because I'm the stepmom. Not trying to replace anybody's mom, but it would have been a team effort, right? I would have loved taking the kid to school. You know, adjusting my hours of work just for the kid, for family time. The only thing I wouldn't miss would be I don't miss is the expenses of doing family trips. You know, if one person is doing it, it is expensive. Two people's income is not that expensive, but still expensive nonetheless. Putting them in sports, putting the little kid in sports. Wishing I had a little boy. Well, they say if you get a girl, she's supposed to teach you lessons of life, where you break generational curses. Sometimes I don't think I was successful. But people outside looking in realize I did break a lot of curses. I'm not the same type of woman my mother was. But nonetheless, I am my mother's daughter. Having romantic hugs. I have to find intimacy within myself now. You know, that's the nice thing, is because the time you spend by yourself with the solitude, you are intimate because you get to nurture the different parts of you that you might have not nurtured before. All the adventures that were missed because you had to play it nice with the other people in the crowds, and I've done that song and dance way too many times. Where I plan things so far in advance that I end up doing it by myself or with others. And it kind of sucks because it's not what I envisioned. I wanted it to be done with certain people. I mean, I got a dog, right? He's like my little baby. Chihuahuas will always have the mentality of a 2 to 3-year-old. Although he's aging, he acts like a baby. He looks for me. He waits for me. He sleeps with me. At first, I just appreciated his existence. Now it's just, I love him. I love my dog. I'm so sorry. It's just, if dogs can talk. One thing, this dog looks at you a certain type of way with his big brown eyes and his pointy ears. Shoot, and I said I was gonna cry. He just sits there and he looks at you and he waits for you and he curls up next to you. Slowly, I learn a thing or two every single time I'm with this dog. The position where they sleep on you, with you, says something, means something. You know, there's a lot of love there between us. And he's protective. Sometimes I feel that he goes Cujo on me, on with the, leash dogs, because he doesn't want anybody to mess with me. Because right now he's chilling, walking. But if he saw another dog on a leash, he'd go crazy. Except for at the dog parks, he knows the pecking order. So, all I think about right now is making more money, planning on a trip, picturing whether I really want to do it or not, and just doing it. Because I gotta be honest, I want to do a lot of things. And I just don't talk about it, I just tend to do it. There's a thought process where I want to go to Costa Rica, but there's a part of me that's like, I think it's the planning aspect of it. The fact that I bought this new roof and it's expensive, and I did it wrong. Go figures. If I had an adequate partner, I wouldn't have jumped on the roof as quickly as I have. That's life, You learn by mere mistakes. Next time I get another roof, I won't do it that way. So, I have to be reasonable with myself. Unfortunately, work is a nice distraction, because there's always work where I work. There's always work available to me. Overtime might be questionable, but if I could get a promotion, that'd be great. But if not, I'll just work hard at doing what I need to do. And that's the story. Whether I will invite someone in, that's another video. But right now, it's just me, myself, and I. Together. The three amigas. Not falling apart with tears and crying and none of that stuff. Just still with open eyes, with an open heart. Because that's what my friends say. Deb, you still have a good heart. You've always had a good heart with everyone you dealt with. I'm glad that they see that. But I don't do it for recognition. I do it with the authenticity of being a good person. Or at least how I define it, right? A good person could be deemed as someone who goes to church all the time. But I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll work on those little things that I still am lacking on. Because I'm not perfect. I'm far from it, but God made a perfect creation. Success is built within me. Success is built within me. Now I'm going to go cook. I think I'm going to do a decomposed, or it's not decomposed. A dismantled lasagna for the lazy. Yeah. Basically, instead of building a lasagna up, you put all the ingredients in a pot and cook, and then just serve it like as if it was like spaghetti or something. Ziti or whatever. I think it will be nice. We'll work on that. And then portion control that. And then set up the rest of, my stuff for tomorrow, because gotta take care of myself always. And I gotta pay for a roof. And I gotta pay for the extra stuff, and I'm not selling toe pictures. So, and the worst part is I did look that up. But I realized it was very unchristian, because you're technically a sex worker. And, yeah. I'm not going to go to heaven doing that stuff. And I'm not walking back into my Jezebel era. So, gotta do the old-fashioned, legitimate way until I figure something out. I always figure something out. That's the cool part. I'm a smart cookie. Life has taught me how to become smart. Now I'll make my phone call. My friend Seymour calls me 25 times a day. So, it's people like him I dread becoming. He's about 79 years old, I think, or 78. He's a widow. No family, no children. So I know you could get anxious. The solitude could be a little too much, but I told him to go out. I love meeting new churches, going to new churches, then finding a park and hiking, finding a new recipe, learning how to cook it, meal prep. Oh, dang it. Okay, here we go, Cujo. We're going. See? Sorry, guys. They're the nicest dogs. They were like... So they did their walk. You still want a piece of them? My dog is crazy. So, yeah. So basically, I don't want to be like Seymour. But I get why he's like that. My dad was similar. And I don't think he fully enjoyed his life, because I think he was suffering from depression at one point. And he didn't utilize his life. And now that he's stroke, After he's had his stroke, he's never rehabilitated himself to try to get back to a normal life. Now he's institutionalized. It is what it is. Well, you see my handsome guy, my protector. Chihuahua life. But here's the end of Chronicles. Happy June.